I want to introduce you to my dearly beloved husband, Chief Judge Jim Shea.
Wow. Thanks for coming tonight. This is absolutely wonderful. Before I start, I do want to offer some special thanks myself. And I want to, of course, single out, first of all, my lovely bride, Judge Ann O'Malley Shake, because I tell you, you can't do this without a loving partner. There's just too much involved, and it's not uncommon for me to in the morning to hear, well, let me tell you what I was thinking about between 2 and 3 this morning. But she says it in a loving way. And she's also the one that when I want to just go home, sometimes after work, it'll kick my butt back out the door and say there are more people to meet, more places to go. So I appreciate that, and thank you, dear, for hanging with me. 55 more days, and we'll be done. I also want to thank my volunteers here. My niece Teresa is here. She's gotten involved. Mike Troutman's here somewhere. He's been out there. He is in the back. Just, you know, so many volunteers. Dwight, Gail and Lorraine. And Dwight tells the story about, you know, working for me. That all started when he sold me a bunch of clothes. But we had a great time during that, and I knew he was a special young man, and I've been thrilled to have him in my life since then, and he's become a star in the legal community. And of course, George Parker is unbelievable. My manager he works tirelessly. He works tirelessly, and he came down and he's been excited about this campaign, but that's just part of what he's doing. What he's doing with these kids here, we knew they were poets, but now they're going to be filmmakers. I thought the paparazzi was here when I showed up in the park here this morning. They were all out there, and I think it's great. And I know he was here for 6 hours or something the other day, and I think it's special. The downside to these campaigns is all the time you have to spend away from home. You know, you work all day, and then there are any number of clubs you need to hit, any number of groups. We always like to say if there are three or more people gathered somewhere, we'll go and talk to them and try to win their vote. It's how it goes, and that's sort of the downside, but that's also the upside, because it's events like this that, you know, really pump me up. I was tired a little earlier. Now I'm fired up as we sit here today, seeing everybody here. I've met people. You know, Mike White, my goodness, what a success. He's built successful businesses. He's doing very well, but more than that, he's building other people's lives, making them successes. And it's special. James, Linton, Camille opening up this shop. Something feels right about this, because I tell you, my grandfather owned this business years and years ago. I was in this when I was probably, Sydney, your age when I met you, when you started playing with Jay. I was probably 6, 7 years old. This was a fish and poultry business, and my uncle or my grandfather owned it, and then my Uncle Gil ran it for a long time before selling it, and it became Jay's Cafeteria after that. So there's something, isn't that yeah, that's a little crazy, but I think I don't know. It sort of ties it all together for me. So meeting the special people night in and night out have been has just been incredible. And Maddie, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for the work you're doing. And I don't know about all that squabble that was going on, but you need to keep it up and keep up the work you've been doing all these years. I don't believe in long campaign speeches, and some of you are saying, well, really, because you've been going for a while already. But I'm going to keep this kind of short. I'm running for this seat because it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and it's something that I can believe I can be effective at. And I'm asking people, when they're deciding who to support, who they'll get behind in this race, to consider 3 things. I'm asking them to consider experience, I'm asking them to consider leadership, and I'm asking them to consider performance. As it relates to experience, I spent 12 years in private practice. Well, not totally private practice. I started as a public defender, worked there for several years, prosecuted with the county attorney's office, and then spent a number of years in private practice where I had a very diverse practice representing clients with any number of causes, both criminally and civilly. I've been on the bench now for 15 and a half years. By the time this election rolls around, it'll be close to 16 years. And I can assure you in that time that I have presided over and ruled on about any issue and about every case that could come before any court in the Commonwealth. I believe I have the experience, and I would, of course, ask you to consult attorneys that you know, anyone you know in the legal profession, and I'll live by what they say. And it makes me particularly proud when I have people like Mike White who sat in my courtroom. Reverend Coleman sat in my courtroom. Sometimes he picketed my courtroom. But we didn't always see eye to eye, but it sounds like I got the nod in the end. We lost a great man there, and it was mentioned earlier, he was a man of passion, and we need men of passion in this community. The other thing that I mentioned that I'd like for people to consider is leadership, and I think that's important because justices of the Supreme Court decide things by committee. You know, there's 7. It takes 4 to be in the majority, and you have to have the respect of your colleagues and the respect of the community for people to follow and believe, you know, what you're asking them to do.